Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. I'm shooting from the sanctuary again today. I've got my good friend Ed Smith's piece of art that he made a T-shirt out of, and I've picked up over Freedom Weekend. So come check out. He's got paintings here that are awesome, and they're for sale. And I also want to give another shout out to 99 Problems, but a Pitch Ain't One. Today at 3:30, we've got a hybrid, so it's both virtual and live. So if you want to come down to the Fledge and pitch or watch some pitches, come on down at about 3:15, 3:30, and we'll go live at 3:30 with your pitches. Now, time for my guest. Gotta slow down. There she is. How you doing today, LaShawn?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing great. What you been up to?
Oh my gosh, quite a few things. Working on some exciting news with the recent acquisition of Otto and getting partners together to get ready to rehab that. I have camp happening next week. I have a nonprofit called the Next Young Phenom Foundation, where we do a science, technology, engineering, arts, and math camp every year. This would have been our 8th year had we not had COVID. But so we're doing a smaller camp this year. We didn't even do a whole lot of advertising because we've been very blessed and fortunate to have 78% of our kids return every year.
Oh,
so it fills up pretty quickly. Yeah, and I've actually watched them grow up, many of them from 6th grade to graduating now. So that's next week.
That's I love that you're doing that. STEM, super important. I'm feeling like I had a guess. What's that? Oh, STEAM. You put the A in. Even better. Even better.
Yes.
We use that term STEAM. I thought you said just without the art, but kudos. I feel like I had a guest who volunteers at that every year on the show. Do you have volunteers that help you with that?
You may have. Who is it?
I can't remember right now. I'm going to have to figure that out. And but somebody's been on the show talking about your camp before and how cool it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, but we'll get into that more in a little bit. First, we want to know about you. Where were you born and raised, and go to school and all that stuff?
Well, I am glad that you asked the question. I was born in Waco, Texas. Excuse me. I went to Waco Public Schools, and I went to junior college there at McLennan Community College, and then I went to Baylor University and graduated with a degree in social work there. And then I went to Austin, moved straight to Austin to work in the House of Representatives, where I got a lot of legislative experience around filing legislation, which actually weaves into what I'm doing today, but being able to file legislation and track legislation. So I got to do that out the gate from college, and a whole bunch of things in between there because I'm older than I look. But I will say that in 2012, I took the job to come run President Obama's campaign for the re-election campaign of this area, and that's what brought me here.
That's why you moved to Lansing?
That's how I got here.
Ah, and you stuck.
Yeah, I felt like I had more for me to do, and that's true. There's more for me to do.
Well,
so
we're super lucky. We owe Obama one more thing, bringing someone great to our city. So Waco, Texas. Does people ever always ask you the same question about Waco, Texas? Like David?
Well, there are questions you could ask me about Waco because it's known for 3 different things. So which one are you thinking about?
Well, I want to know what I'm thinking of. David, I get his name wrong now because of the Kardashians.
I can help you. His name is David Koresh, and I can also help you a little bit further. That was not Waco. Waco was the closest city known.
Oh.
It was a place called Carmel, which has its own post office, which means it has its own city. So when you heard people reporting from Waco, they were either lying or at their hotel.
All right. So what are the other 2 things?
Oh, gosh. There was a shootout once. These 2 gangs. It's crazy. So Waco is like here. Dallas is north and Austin is south. So Waco is literally the halfway spot between the 2. And there were gangs, literal like motorcycle gangs that met up in Waco and had a shootout at a restaurant. And none of the people were local. My niece actually worked there at the time. They've since raised it, like it doesn't even exist anymore. But that was another thing that happened in Waco. And I can't remember what the third one was, but there are 3 different things. Oh, Chip and Joanna Gaines, which they're very new.
I thought you were going to say you were born there.
Well, I mean,
that was the third big thing.
That happened, right? Yeah.
So, tell us about some of your projects, and we can start where we left off with the STEAM camp if you'd like. But I mean, you have so much going on. Where this show's going to be for 3 hours today.
No, we won't do it that long. I won't do it that long. I'll try to give you the abbreviated version, or maybe come back.
Come back. All right.
So with the STEAM camp, it's like one of my babies. So I wasn't blessed to actually have children. I always wanted kids, and I always have been very good with kids. So I always had to have something in my life that gave me that opportunity to love on some children. And so one of the things that I know I would have done had I had children was had them involved in science, all the little geeky stuff that I love. So what I was able to do then is pull together some professionals that I've been able to meet throughout my journey and have them come pour back into my children. So for example, I did an event for Microsoft 10 years ago in Texas. And one of the people that I did that event with is going to come back and talk to my kids about technology and where he's been able to go. So it's just being able to use all the experiences that I have to be able to pour them back into children. And most of my children are Black and brown. And I do that because I want them to have exposure to new experiences. It's very important for me for them to know that they have lots of options of what they want to do with their life.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that today, that all of us need some problems taken away from us, and all of us need to be able to see more opportunities. And just those 2 little things, I mean, they're not little, they're actually huge, but those 2 things can eliminate poverty, that can eliminate substance use, that can eliminate so many of the things you and I fight against.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
I love that you're doing this. Tell us just a little bit more. Can people still sign up? How much is it, and where's it at?
Okay, so literally this is the first year I didn't do all that stuff. I have a team, so I can't tell you. I do think we're closed though because we're starting on Monday. But I have a program director, and let me just give him a shout out. His name is Dr. Terrence Gibson. He is a newly earned PhD, and he comes back to Lansing every year to pour into the children. He is my camp director. When I met him, he was an undergraduate at MSU. We met when we were in a musical called Aunt Misbehaving at the Riverwalk Theater. So if you saw that musical, you've seen Terrence. Terrence was also the first Simba for the national tour of the Lion King. He's amazing. Not only does he have amazing brain around like arts, but he's into science. He does medical things around medical issues, works with children with infectious diseases. Like, he's just an amazing human. And for him to take the time and his own money to come back every summer to pour into my kids is phenomenal. So I just need to give him a shout out and a big, huge thank you, because he didn't have to do that, but he does. In fact, he just got back to town this week. So I'm going to be meeting up with him to finalize everything later today.
So since he's, you said he just got his doctorate, congratulations, Dr. Gibson. Right?
Yes.
All right. And maybe we should say his name 3 times too, because he sounds Dr. fascinating.
Dr. Gibson.
Just the Simba thing made me, I don't know what, get the chills. I don't know why.
Because it's a feel-good thing, of course.
And then we are going to go for 3 hours because you performed in a musical. What?
I was a gangster. Yeah, I didn't have a speaking role, but
okay.
I can name mug pretty well.
Oh, you were a what? A gangster? Is that what you said?
Gangster. I was an extra. But I have so much fun. Yeah. Oh my God. I love all things theater.
That we do have to have another show. We'll do an encore here sometime soon. Okay. Okay. All right. So with the camp, I'll also do some research and try to find something and try to share something with some posts later today. Okay. Even if people can't sign up, I at least want people to know that this is going on. And, it's the opportunities that we see in our black and brown neighborhoods and the opportunities that we see in our white and more affluent neighborhoods are completely different, even if the schools have some of the tools for STEM and have some of the even people that can teach. There's so many other things distracting us that we don't put the proper investment into the black and brown community in the proper tools for the future. It's like we're trying to just check boxes and churn people out sometimes. So this supplement that you're doing, I love it.
Thank you. And you made so many bells and whistles go off in my head just in those few sentences that you just spoke, because we know that if you don't have equity in your home, if you don't have like property taxes fund the education system, and so there's inequity in the basic school systems. And there are people, I've been very blessed and fortunate to find people who know that this is an issue and they want to do something about it. So when we get to the business part of the conversation, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I can say for sure that I don't want anyone to ever think that only poor people, only black people and brown people are poor, because that's not true. Poverty hits everyone, but there are some affluent black and brown people as well. And a lot of my students actually fall in that area, but then I do have some that need scholarships. So I have the full range. I have people who can pay for themselves and other people, and then I have some children who need some help, because we don't ever want money to be the reason that people can't have this experience.
Right. Did I say something that implied that only black and brown people were poor?
No, but you did say something about wealth and housing and schools. And so those bells, when I hear those things, they ring. Yeah. And then the other piece is you can have the tools, but if you don't have the cultural competency to make the tools work, you might as well not have the tools. Right.
That's sort of what I was trying to say too. But that's why I need your brain. I was talking to you earlier. I need your help learning some things and probably unlearning some other things. So
well, I do that too. I'm actually a CEO of 1 in a Billion Consulting, and I do teach people. I coach and mentor people who want to use their power and privilege to change things. So yes, we can talk.
Well, I was actually trying to lead into that because you just did a master class, I think, right?
Actually, it's coming up. Glad you said that. Push Past Your Privilege Masterclass will be July the 26th, July the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. It is a 5-day class for 1 hour. And it's for people who want to literally do more than they have been doing. They know that they haven't been as active as they could be. Some people don't do it because they feel like they need some information. They need to know where to start. And so I'm going to take people through those steps each day. There'll be homework. There's a workbook. It's free, but you do need to make the commitment to be in the whole class if you want to get the full benefit of it. The way you can sign up for that, though, is www.pushpastyourprivilege.com. Pushpastyourprivilege.com.
There's a lot of big words here, man. I always get privilege wrong.
I know. Privilege. Oh my God. GE.
I'm putting the website in and checking it before I post. I'm gonna make sure I got it right first.
There you go. There you go.
I don't. That's when I need my wife for sure.
Hey, Giannis. Giannis is watching.
Oh yeah, I meant to say something, and I need that. I need help with privilege again.
Privil. You know, I can see it better. I'll tell you what. I'll text it. Let's just keep talking.
All right. So I'll get that out there. But so, you know, when I read that when you registered for the show, and I've been excited to talk to you about it, I think about a lot, and I tell people a lot. If you have privilege, it's your responsibility to help distribute that privilege. And if you're scared of losing that privilege because you're distributing it, that's your privilege getting in your way. And then a lot of times it doesn't dilute, though. It's like kindness, right? The more privileged the people around me are privileged, the more I'm safe and secure and healthy and building and prospering with the people around me. Is that sort of right?
It grows as you share it. That is true. Just like love, just like money, it grows as you share it.
Yeah, it's I. It's so counterintuitive to people, but it's such an abundance type of thing. And I think, with the Poor People's Campaign, I know you're all about abundance. I believe that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I started the local chapter of the Metro Lansing Poor People's Campaign in 2019. We had 22 people show up from 7 different cities around the state, which felt great. Some of our sister campaigns came in from Washington, Detroit, to give us a little love. But since then, we've been doing a lot of things. And I want people to know that although it is called the Poor People's Campaign, and it was started by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it was the last thing that he was working on before he was assassinated. We believe that's why he was assassinated, because he was lifting up people and around economics and bringing people together. But I want people to understand that although we work with the Poor People's Campaign, it's not because we are glorifying poverty. We are trying to eradicate poverty. We're an anti-poverty campaign looking at moral issues, because a lot of poverty has been legislated. And so if we don't change the laws that keep people poor, then they're going to remain poor. And it's up to us, those of us who recognize these things, and those of us who are willing to link arms to make those changes happen, to make them happen.
I love the name, by the way, and I'm going to tell you a story as to why in a little bit. But do you want to talk about Advanced Corp and the Otto acquisition and the Poor People's Campaign there?
I will speak briefly on that, but I do know that my partner, Reverend DJ Knox, Pastor DJ Knox, is going to be coming on, so I'll leave something for him to talk about too. But yes, we met this morning. He's excited. Hey, Pastor DJ, I know he's watching. So he is a phenomenal leader. He is a state leader with the Michigan Poor People's Campaign. Very excited about that, giving leadership on the state level. And what we're doing is with the acquisition of Otto and the 18 acres of land that we plan to have not only a full service BIPOC-led center, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, for those who are not familiar with that term, a BIPOC-led center, because it's very important for people that look like me to see leaders that look like me. And it's very important for children to see leaders that look like me, and brown people, and indigenous folks, all the folks coming together. Yeah. So I'm super excited because we have Voces de la Comunidad is going to be a part of our organization. We have the Indigenous Youth Empowerment Group that's a part of our organization. We have talked to Bridging the Digital Gap. We have talked to, people from MSU in the psychology department. Dr. Farha Abbasi is a very good friend of mine, and she's agreed to be our advisor, because we do plan to reopen the mental health clinic. We plan to also open the health clinic. The beautiful thing about Otto is also has a pool, which we want to get some corporate sponsorship to get that reopened for rehab, so that can be something used in the community. People can get therapy in the community. I mean, how awesome is it going to be able to get healthcare, mental health care, good food? We're going to teach people how to grow food. We're working with MSU Extension and several of the departments over there. So there can be an extension service. We do know that it's a food desert, so people need good, healthy food to eat. I'm excited about all the partners. There's so many people who've stepped up. They want to help with college readiness. They want to help us write grants. So I'm going to let Pastor DJ tell you most about this, but there's an apprenticeship program that he has called Opportunity Knocks. So with the apprenticeship program, people will be able to get hands-on experience in the trades as we get Otto back up to code, so that it can be this full-on center. Yeah. It's a huge blessing already. I'm excited about that work.
Yeah, I'm super jealous.
Wow.
Well, I love that building. I grew up on the north. I didn't grow up on the north side, but when I was finishing high school, I lived on the north side, just a few blocks away from where Otto is on Sadie Court by Pisano's there. Yeah, that's a whole different story. And then I've always been trying to grow into something that big because we have a very, very similar mission. My enemy is poverty. And that is what I am trying to do here too. And that kind of leads into the story. I used to call it the Fledge, the Poor People's Incubator. And you guys then, when you came along, I was like, oh, that name. And because I love the name. But people that I would talk to outside of my circles were like, oh, you can't call poor people. And I'm like, you're not getting it. And so I love that you guys have that name, actually. And I love, even though I'm jealous, I'm an abundance guy. This is a huge pie. We all got a ton of work to do. And so I'm one of your biggest fans, by the way, if you didn't know that.
No, thank you. Likewise. You know what? There's so much work to be done. Right. Like, I never feel like there's not enough work because there's plenty of work. But there's also space. I mean, if you want to come have me on North Side, Fledge something over there, we'll come do some stuff with you. There's nothing keeping us from working together.
I'm whispering in Tobias's ear every other day about that. So, yeah, I would love some partnerships with you guys. Some further partnerships because we've already done some stuff together. So I love y'all. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're welcome. So
let me see. We've got the summer camp. We got your Masterclass. We've got a little bit of Poor People's Campaign. You let us know that you were in a musical. What other secrets aren't you telling us?
That's enough for today.
Is it?
That's enough for today, don't you think? I mean, oh my gosh.
It is. It's a great day. So let's go back to your mission for a second. How does this all fit into your mission, or how would you summarize your mission? I could guess, but I don't want to.
My own personal mission?
What you're trying to do, where you're trying to get to, I think.
My mission, my personal mission is to equip people with the tools that they need to be their very best, and whatever that looks like. And sometimes, so my business is called 1 in a Billion Consulting. And I chose that name because I believe everybody's so specific that you don't really know what they need until you get with them. And I have lots of things that I love to do. So that just kind of keeps it open for me. But I'm specifically right now focusing on helping leaders, people with influence, people who lead folks, to make sure that they're doing it well in an equitable way. Because you can't talk about you want equity and justice, but you're oppressing people at the same freaking time. You can't do both at the same time.
That's right.
You have to talk the talk, but you also have to walk the walk. And some people are afraid to do anything because they're afraid they're going to do the wrong thing, so they do nothing. Yeah. So then my job then is to get them, come to the class, let me help you put that privilege to some good use.
I definitely want to get that link right and share it with my community, because I've had people like message me privately and say, I want to come into the neighborhoods and help, but I feel like sometimes Black Lives Matter wouldn't want me there. Like they think I have privilege or they think I'm fragile. So they don't know how to engage, and they're kind of scared that they're not just going to do or say the wrong thing, but their very presence there isn't welcome sometimes. And I think that that's the responsibility of them to get comfortable and get in on the fight with us.
Yeah. I have to say that, so first of all, I'm one of the co-founding members of BLM Lansing. Mm-hmm. I haven't been active in a while just because I have other things going on, but BLM and it's not a scary thing. So like, if you're having some fear, like, don't be trying to put that on BLM. Like, do your work, right. And then you'll be ready to step in, because guess what? If you step in before, there could be some challenges, but steps at a time, little steps at a time, which is why I'm doing the Push Past Your Privilege Masterclass, because some people need some itty bitty, teeny tiny baby steps. Yeah. And I'm patient enough to do that in a masterclass situation, right?
Well, I like it because you're putting the work on them, and you're putting the work on in a way that's going to make it easier for them to kind of integrate, I guess, and to the whatever the system is, or whatever the cause is, or whatever the event is. So I'm also trying to spread the word that, hey, we're here, we're loving, we're kind, get in here, and let's get this fight going, because we got a lot of work to do, like you said. So, but I think that's good that there's people that do need this. They need, I guess, their hand held through the process, and you doing that work, I think, is very important. So thank you.
I had a client tell me once that one of the reasons she liked working with me is that I don't mince words when it comes to speaking my truth, but I withhold judgment and I encourage honesty, even if it's brutal, because it just makes a big difference in the work.
Yeah. So, what's something you do every damn day to push that mission forward?
Woo! I keep going.
Yeah. You hinted to that earlier. You want to say more about it?
Yes. I'm sorry, my phone just rang. Yes, I also read my Bible every morning because I have to start the day that way. Yeah. And things would be so different if I didn't. So doesn't make every day perfect, but it certainly does help deal with the challenges.
Is it like a daily affirmation? Do you just read a little bit, or do you read,
No, actually it is a 1-year Bible that has the whole Bible broken up into readings every day. Yeah. And I'm almost finished. I started in September when I was in Texas.
It'll be kind of weird if you're finished, like if we started every damn day on the same day, and you've been doing that every damn day, and I've been doing the show every damn day, and maybe I should stop saying damn in the Bible in the same sentence.
Can I just tell you, when I heard this, I was like, oh, that's an interesting name for a show. But then it reminded me when I was younger, and let me just, I want to dedicate this interview to my aunt who passed from COVID, my mama's sister, and to my brother who passed from COVID. And he passed away after everything got opened back up. So I'm side-eye looking at a lot of people about opening up early, and you will see me in my mask still. Yeah. So just know that. But my aunt used to have this sticker on her car when I was a little girl, and it said, this is an old brown station wagon. We used to ride it when we would go to Mexico for Christmas. It said, if you can read this bumper sticker, you are too damn close. And I just wanted to read that over and over again so I can say the word damn. And then here you go with a show. You get to say it every day.
Yeah. Sometimes I say dang, like if it's a really sensitive person, or if it's a kid, we do that.
I think it's harmless.
First of all, I'm sorry for the loss of your aunt and the loss of your brother. Especially, I mean, COVID seemed senseless in so many ways that people, I don't know, just, last year, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And then, the show title comes from something we've been saying for a very long time. And that's that, we have to work every damn day, because the people that we're here walking with, the people that we're on this journey with, can't take a break from poverty. They can't take a break from oppression. They can't take a break from their substance use disorder or habits. They can't take a break from abusive relationships. So if we're an ally, we can show up for a few days and protest and go back home and get away from it. But we want to be more than an ally. We're an accomplice. We're in this. We don't get to go home. We have to be here. And so we're here.
Awesome. So that, just so you know, and I know you didn't know this, but I have a Facebook group called Authentic Activists and Advocates. That's where the masterclass is going to be held on Facebook. The original name of it was Allies and Advocates. Authentic Allies and Advocates. And then I got to thinking, an ally can decide they don't want to do it. So we changed the name.
Yeah.
Activists and Advocates for that very reason. thinking about anti-racism and moving toward being an accomplice. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we daisy chain these shows together. I just love the way you think. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yesterday on the show, I had Casey, who started or was one of the founders of the newly formed Greater Lansing Optimists Club. And basically, they spread optimism, or what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
And her question for you was, if you were going to leave this earth, on some particular day, I don't want to say tomorrow.
Thank you.
And the day before, you had to decide, you had to take every single thing with you, all the books you have, all the people in your lives, all the knowledge you have, and you could only leave one thing behind. What would you leave behind?
So my first thought is my tenacity.
Yeah.
And then my second is my love. But they're kind of intertwined because the tenacity is kept going by the love. And when I get tired, the love keeps the tenacity going. So love and tenacity all in one.
Love and tenacity. I love it. I was thinking earlier of always thinking how I would answer these questions, and I took a completely opposite twist on it when I was talking with her yesterday. I was trying to figure out what's that one like crappy thing I didn't want to take with me that I was going to leave behind. I wasn't looking at it from the perspective that it was, like a gift that I would be leaving behind.
Oh, well, I actually love giving gifts. I really do. So that's just how my brain goes.
Well, for a lot of us, I think it's that's the fun part, right?
Yeah.
Is giving a gift. Getting a gift is always awkward and embarrassing to me. So, tomorrow on the show,
Jerry, you are a gift.
You're a gift.
Thank you.
Tomorrow on the show, I have Ezekiel Jacob, and he's a musician. He's in the National Guard. He works with elderly instruments. What question would you like me to pass to him?
Who is he grooming to take his place?
Yeah, and I think he's gonna like that question. He might answer it. He was in here a little bit ago. He might answer it like you're answering saying 1 in a billion. He might be like, nobody's taking my place, but it's always a good question, especially if you've got a mission worth carrying on. Right?
It's really important, though, for us to think about legacy. Sometimes people get in a position and they hold on to that thing too long. Yeah. When you're not effective, you need to move around. And I do not mean that in a disrespectful way. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not helping, you're hurting. And you may need to move.
Yeah.
So people need to think about that. I'm always thinking about who can I teach what I know?
What I worry about sometimes are people that have a traumatic event. Like when my daughter died, she died of a fentanyl overdose. And I could have easily just started a nonprofit dedicated to substance use and stayed in that world, but I would have burned out from it. I wouldn't have been able to carry it on. So instead, being able to help Harm Reduction Michigan, or being able to help Refuge Recovery, or the NA meetings, or so on and so forth, and then doing our own work mixed in with our other work, I can stay motivated. So I worry sometimes about that parent that wants to start an organization immediately, because it really is, it can be, what's the right word? Grieving. It can help you through your grieving. It can be consoling. So
I'm sorry to hear about your child. That's I didn't know that, but I loved how you took that energy to do something sustainable that made sense. That's not just putting it off because you take time to grieve.
Yeah. But I do think, some of us, we should join forces a lot more. Collaboration Absolutely. Is where it's at.
Absolutely.
And so do you have someone that you're grooming for your?
I have a few people actually, and I haven't gotten their permission to say their name on camera, so I'm not gonna do that to them. But if you pay attention and you see where I am, you'll see who's with me.
Can we talk more abstractly then?
Sure.
And like, how are you grooming them? What does that mean?
I have young people. I have young people who volunteer with me if they can't. I have people who volunteer with me when I'm doing things around Otto. I have folks who have taken different pieces of it that go to meetings with me. I want them to know what I do so that they can do it as well. And then at some point, I want to sit down. I mean, good grief. I'm not trying to work till I'm 300 years old. But, I have some activists that call on me when they have situations. I have a lot of them, actually. And they'll just let me know what's going on, or we're going to meet in the park and talk, and, I'll just encourage them. Sometimes they come to me when things haven't gone very well, and I give them a little pep talk and talk about what did we learn, because there's never a waste. As long as you learn something, it's never a waste. And I have a mentor that always says there's never a failure as long as you learn the lesson. So.
It's succeed or learn. That's one of our premises.
Exactly. One thing that I have started doing for myself, well, a couple of things I've started doing, which have been very helpful, is investing in myself and making sure I get self-care. Those are two huge things that we miss easily. But they're super important to our success.
Will you give a brief pep talk or something like that about mentorship? Because I preach this all the time, and I love how you encourage people to mentor and be mentored, by the way, everybody.
Yes. I have a couple mentors here in Michigan. I have one in DC and I have a couple in Texas. We don't talk regularly, some of them, but we have access to them. And some of them were my mentors when I was a little girl. I still keep in contact with them, like when I was a young thing in NAACP growing up. And so it feels really good that people would stay with you that long. But it's very important just to find somebody who's doing the thing that you want to do well. Not just doing the thing, but doing it well and modeling them. Talk to them, ask them questions. Be on time when you say you want to meet with your mentor. Don't show up late. Don't be disrespectful, and never ask me to mentor you if you're not going to do the things I suggest, because I will cut you loose. And you really should, right? Seriously, I want to help people, but I'm not going to chase anybody to do it. I have a good heart, but I will not be taken advantage of. So those are the things that I teach the people I mentor as well.
My wife tells me she will cut me all the time, and she doesn't say the loose part. Gotta try to get that part. No, I don't want that part added either. So I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad, I think mentoring, I talked to, do you know who Sherry Pruitt is? Her and I are in a club together, and it's a lost child club. Well, she actually has 2 children lost, but one of them was it's an unsolved murder in Lansing. And she talks about how we're here to fill the gap. We have to step in the gap, and whatever that might mean to somebody, but getting where they're at and try to help them, step in the gap that's in their life. And I think mentors can do that for people. So not only should you have mentors, you should be a mentor too. And we do this fun thing at the Fledge. I call people in to mentor kids, and then we flip. The kids actually mentor them and teach them something. And it's pretty fun to watch that interaction.
That's smart, because everybody's a teacher. I tell my kids that all the time. Yep. Everybody can learn and everybody can teach. It just depends on your own mindset. Do you want to learn something, or do you want to be taught? And if you go into with the right mindset, you can learn and teach.
Yep.
No matter your age. That's something we've been pushing for the longest. Even in the BLM work, we were talking about that intergenerational leadership.
Yeah, it's super important. Mm-hmm. And one of our premises, we're a student. When you're here, you're a student and a teacher. So you're obligated to teach as much as you're obligated to learn.
And I know I learn a lot from my camp kids. Love them so much.
And the people around me every day teach me so much.
Hey, maybe
So,
we can talk about the Fledge one day.
yes, please.
I'll call you.
Okay. Happiness, sadness, joy, or hope?
Hope.
So, have you ever been in a spot where you thought you had zero hope?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you? I've been really trying to examine when it comes to hope. Is it really possible? What made you lift your head if you were at that point of zero hope? What?
There are some times when you can get down so low that the only way you can look is up.
Yeah.
And when you realize that the only way you can look is up, and if you don't move, you're going to stay down, you get it. That was probably a very simplistic answer to a very complex process, but that's my summary.
I always get the guy's name wrong, but that razor, Oshkov's razor or something like that, is the simplest solution, is almost always the correct solution. So very simple. I like it.
And if you don't have hope, hope, you got to have hope, because without hope, you can't move forward.
I use a Russian phrase that says, hope is the last to die.
That's actually true.
And I'm examining that. Is that true? What's it really mean? As you know, so I'm not trying to teach you anything, but I want to have a little more discord here. When people are suffering and not having their basic needs, for example, when a mother is worried about getting dinner for her kids tonight, they're not thinking about 2 weeks out, or they're not thinking about, oh, I've got to go get my bachelor's degree, or, hey, I've got to go register my business at, whatever. They're thinking about feeding their kids. And mentally, our brains start to shut down when we go into survival mode, so we can focus completely on surviving. And that opportunity that you want to create, the enablement that you talked about, is so important to start putting that in front of people, as we also help them with basic needs and get them that help, and the mental health and the rehab and the trades and everything you named about Otto.
The one thing that has not been mentioned in all of the news articles, and even I don't think in this interview that we've talked about, is that while we are using the building for nonprofit organizations and different organizations that can help, we're also going to have spaces for businesses. Like, I'm a small business owner. Let me stop saying that. I am a business owner. Business owner, and we want to support businesses, people who have businesses. So Otto will be a place for that as well.
Yep.
So we know that if you really want to have generational wealth, working for people isn't necessarily the way that you're going to get that done. So we want to have people come in. My mentor is a empowerment specialist. She teaches people about business, one of them. And so there'll be lots of opportunities for us to teach our village even more on how to grow businesses that are successful and sustainable, that we can pass on to
and I hope we have a couple hundred businesses that I work with in different stages, and some of them need office space, and I hope to just keep pushing you guys' way. It's a beautiful thing.
That's what it is. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. So thank you for coming on the show. I know you're super busy. I know we had to reschedule once, and we
made it work.
We did make it work because we have to. There's
Absolutely.
No choice. Let me just talk to the crowd for a second. Every damn day we do this show at 2 p.m. So stay tuned for tomorrow's show and the next and the next. This was show 301. We go to 365 before we're finished, which will be September 11th, ironically, I guess. And what would you like to take us out with, LaShawn?
keep loving people, keep forgiving people. The pandemic has been really hard on folks, and some people have made some bad choices. Give them grace. You know, if you don't have to hold on to that grudge, let it go. You'll live longer. You'll be healthier. That's all I got.
And by the way,
tell me my class too. Push Flash Your Privilege. I'm going to give you that link so you can put it in all the.
I will do it. I'll put it in all the things. All right. Stick with me for 2 seconds after we go off air. Everyone, we will see you tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye-bye.